This episode of On the Limb podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Faith Builders, LLC. Faith Builders, LLC is a Christian-owned and operated West Virginia construction company. Faith Builders is a shingle master through Certainteed Shingles. Faith Builders offers a 50-year non-prorated warranty. In addition to pitched roofs, Faith Builders also specializes in low-slope roofing for both commercial and residential, currently certified through Mule Hide Roofing Products. Give them a call today at 304-916-3033 and 304-474-3096, or visit them on their Facebook page. Faith Builders, LLC, brightening up the world one job at a time. 304-916-3033. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to On the Limb podcast with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Tonight, we've got a good one in for you today.
Oh, yeah.
So, who's been pestered by those pesky insects during the summertime? And, you know, you just hate the flies and the black flies. And
Dude, mosquitoes love me.
yeah. I don't know what it is about flies, but they love me too.
Yeah.
Don't even say it, Dan. I know where he was going to go with that.
Oh, man, I cannot believe you beat me.
Yep.
All right.
I knew it.
Oh, Dan, you should have been quicker, man. That would have been great.
I knew where he was headed, right? As I said that, I was
You
like,
served it up.
I shouldn't have said that. He's going to get me.
Man, that was quick on you, Mike. That was good.
Yep. I was going to say.
That was a safety save right there.
Safety. What's going on, Dan? We got Dan in tonight on the phone, co-host, and got production guy Dave over here sitting in the chair, I think. I don't know. I really can't see.
You can't see?
I'm just not used to seeing you there, so I don't really know if it's
you think I might be a ghost or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
Honestly, what's going on is I'm now having trouble with my email. You had it last week.
Oh, so you didn't get it now?
No, I got it, but it won't load now.
Oh, jeez.
This guy.
My email's just
isn't it in
laying
the
there in the circle stage, loading stage.
Isn't it in the live chat?
No, it's not in the live because I've added a bunch of stuff since it went in there.
Oh, I see.
But I can put it in there real quick. Anyways, I'll do that here in a little second.
Little bit. That's fine.
Little
second.
Yeah, little second.
Yeah.
Little second.
Little second. That's what my son used to say. Instead of minute, he'd be like, little second.
Give me a little second, Dad.
When he was littler. All right, anyway. So episode 106 with David Miller with Appalachian Range, and he's also an outdoor writer at Bowhunter Magazine. That airs tomorrow. We've got episode 105 out now, which we talked with John Fowler, contributor to Nature's Voice Game Calls. And we talked about tick awareness, and that's kind of why we got Sawyer's guy on here tonight. So,
Yes.
I just let the cat out of the bag.
Oh,
Yes,
man.
Yes, you did.
I sure did.
How do you get the cat back in? You can't.
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you, but
Can't do it.
Anyways, no, we got a good guy on this evening, Travis Avery with Sawyer Products. We've been partnered up and dealing with Sawyer Products since about 2018, and there's several products that we've used that we love, so we're going to be discussing that later. Be sure you go and check out all of our episodes there on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. And a little bit more about the David Miller episode. They involved the DNR and Whitetail Frenzy on his property, where they had done all kinds of stuff for kids. They went and done turkey hunt. They done some trout fishing. They stocked, the stream right there near David Miller's property. And we talked about his books and things that he's got coming out with Bowhunter Magazine. They're going to help him publish those. So
Cool.
You guys will hear all that on that episode tomorrow. So, well, without further ado, please welcome me, Travis Avery with Sawyer Products. Travis, how you doing this evening?
Great. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Man, it's a pleasure, I tell you. So, is the dog nice and secure there now?
Yes. Believe it or not, there's actually some turkey and some young ones in the backyard that's got his eyes full attention. So
Oh,
you should
wow.
be good to go.
Good deal, man.
Nice.
I hear you. So you must live out in the country there.
Yeah, so I live, the company's based out of Tampa Bay, Florida, but I get to work remotely from the greater Grand Rapids, Michigan area. So I'm just outside of town. Literally yesterday I had some doe in the yard as well as a fox, and today the turkeys came back.
Nice.
Man, that's awesome.
Man, that's pretty good. That's kind of like
I'm spoiled.
So do you have like an office near a window like
Yep.
Chevy
So,
Chase did?
I get to work
Yeah.
from home.
Funny farm.
Converted,
Funny farm.
one of the rooms to a home office that has a nice big I even put some windows in the back corner so I don't get too stir crazy being inside.
And that's great. I mean, that's pretty sweet right there. All right.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
So
Very fortunate.
just to start off real quick, tell us a little bit about your background and your role with Sawyer Products.
Yeah. So Sawyer was started in 1984 by my father. I had no intentions of sticking around in the company, but it just turns out that the outside industry is actually far more fun than I anticipated. So I ended up sticking around, and now I kind of help oversee our marketing department, as well as some of the, PR, customer service, Amazon, and other accounts. So we're a much smaller company than most people would imagine, so we all get to wear some different hats.
I would not have expected you to be small because I've seen you in so many stores, huge stores.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, no, and that's part of what's amazing about our Florida operation, where we literally batch and mix the repellents, bottle and label them, and ship them all out. So we,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I would have never known that your father started this. I was thinking that
Not
you were
something
just
that I bring up, and obviously you guys didn't know till now. But
Yeah.
we're trying to be a little bit more transparent. It's kind of funny. Growing up, we were always a small company trying to appear as a big company, and now the roles have reversed.
man. Well,
Wow.
just before Dan gets into this next talking point, I want to mention something before I forget. When me and my wife got married, she had used Sawyer products way before I did, and her dad had a thing of the sunscreen that you all had.
Okay.
Now this was back when the sunscreen had like it almost looked like a playground logo because it had a bunch of kids and the family on the front of it.
Oh
and,
yeah, no, we've gone. Yeah, the sunscreen has been around since like the 80s, or early 90s, and we've gone over several kind of logo and packaging updates over those times.
So that was my introduction to Sawyer products, and I started looking it up, and I'm like, wow, we can use this in the outdoors. This is awesome.
Yeah, so we were the supplier for the original Desert Storm for sunscreen. That was kind of what helped leverage our kind of category growth. So we started in first aid, and then we got into sunscreens and repellents, and then water filtration was actually the last category we got into, though some might only recognize us for the water filtration as opposed to the other stuff that we were doing before that.
Man.
So you, Michael, was talking about how you was introduced to it and stuff. You initially introduced me as I thought, but comes to the findings that I was going through some of my stuff not too long ago, and I found some older Sawyer products from, I guess I would have to say, back when I was still in the service that we used.
Yeah.
And I never mentioned that to you. I forgot all about it till you brought that up.
Oh, man, that's cool.
Yeah, we have on their website, we kind of have a fun timeline feature on our About Us page. You can kind of see kind of the evolution since 1984.
Man, we just hit on every talking point there. Thanks, guys, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in.
No,
We'll see you next time.
I'm just kidding. We got a lot of other good stuff to talk about, but that was some of the points that we wanted to hit. I mean, you all have had a military contract for over 20 years, correct?
Yeah, so basically the gentlemen, the brothers that originally kind of pioneered permethrin insect repellent treatment for clothing and gear was originally developed for the U.S. military.
Yes.
We partnered with them, eventually bought the company out, and then were able to, with them, bring that from the military grade to a EPA approved civilian grade, and that is what most people know and love, whether it's from Walmart, Amazon, or elsewhere, Bass Pro Cabela's. That's what we've kind of really built our reputation on in that space, as being the pharmaceutical grade permethrin that really pioneered it in the industry.
Wow.
Much like our lead engineer was actually the gentleman who first pioneered hollow fiber membrane technology. But I'll try not to get ahead of myself again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
There's so much
Speaking-
there. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So now
Speaking on
just for
that,
our listeners, you don't
go ahead.
apply that stuff to your skin, right? That goes on your like clothing
Yeah.
and equipment.
Yep, it's a synthetic replica of the chrysanthemum flower's natural insect repellent. So
Yep.
it needs to be applied to clothing and gear to bond with fabric fibers, because
Gotcha.
otherwise your
Right.
skin will break it down.
Cool.
Our pharmaceutical grade formula is kind of much more safe than the kind of agricultural and like petroleum based ones that have the much higher warnings and don't dry completely odorlessly, as well as the ones that can like come out with rain, sweat, or physical contact. So we still have the best application on the market, and that's why the military still actively uses permethrin treated uniforms.
Man, that's great. That is an awesome standing relationship you have there with the U.S. government and the military.
Yeah, no, we're very proud to continue to supply them. We also work with the Canadian military, and the U.S. military also really likes one of our other topical insect repellents as well.
Cool.
So speaking on like that insect repellent,
Yeah.
You guys have a patent on that, correct? Patent.
We have our own secret sauce. So basically, much like there are other DEET formulas or picaridin formulas on the market, we have a unique formula, which is why ours dries odorlessly faster and does not come out much like some other concentrates and others could. So we are still the industry leader in the application permethrin treatment.
Nice.
So speaking on the insect repellents, the picaridin insect repellent, I have used the little one, the little spray bottles. We use those on boats, when we're fishing. But my favorite is the aerosol can, and we used it when we worked and done survey and field work for my daytime job, and we use it all over the campsite. We have some sitting on our front porch. I mean, that thing, you can actually spray around your chair. You can like put your little fence around where you don't want bugs to come, and they'll stay away from it.
Yeah, so that the picaridin formula is actually the latest version we've added to our lineup, and it's already become our by far most popular.
Yeah.
So when we first introduced it, we called it the fisherman's formula because it's gear safe. You won't harm any like plastics or gear or anything. It's a non-plasticizer. But then it became so popular outside of that community that it was just simply our 20% picaridin formula. Gear safe, family safe use on kids, and even safe for use during pregnancy. So definitely a very effective formula, and it also has an added benefit of being more effective against flies than DEET is.
Wow.
Nice. So we was talking about the fabric treatment, the permethrin fabric treatment. Why don't you hit on that and kind of explain to everybody how that works and how you would apply it properly?
Absolutely.
Especially talk about how long does it last if you wash it?
Sure. Absolutely. So the permethrin fabric treatment is a insect repellent spray that you would apply to like clothing, gear, and tents in advance. So you apply it to clothing. Our suggested application amount is basically just enough to see a color change in the fabric. It does have a minimum effective threshold. So you want to make sure that you have a sufficient coating of that treatment, but then basically it will dry completely odorlessly. It won't come out via physical contact or anything like that. And it is effective against mosquitoes and ticks for 6 weeks or 6 washes, whatever comes first.
Nice. Yeah, that's been something that all of our pro staffers have loved.
Yes.
Yes, and
Eric,
it's incredibly effective. There was a study done by the University of Rhode Island that showed you were more than 73.6 times, not percent, times less likely to get bitten by a tick if you were just using permethrin-treated shoes and socks.
wow.
So naturally, for any outdoor enthusiast, whether it's your routine field gear or hunting gear, you can drastically cut down on mosquitoes and ticks and disease-carrying insects just with this odorless treatment alone.
Yeah.
So we always recommend that as your first layer defense, and I have some other tips and tricks that I can add on to that later. But then, so if you have the majority of your clothing and gear, your tent, your pack, whatever fabrics, I spray the inside of my truck. I have a fabric cloth in the inside of my truck, so when I go fly fishing, I don't have to worry about bringing any insects back when the dog's with me. You can spray it directly on dogs. But yes, it's a very effective fabric insect repellent. And then you only need to use a smaller amount of topical insect repellent on your exposed areas if you're still in an area where the bugs are being problematic on top of the permethrin application.
Yeah, so we have one of our pro staffers and longtime partners, Eric Alexandra, in Miami, Florida, and he hunts a lot of swampland down there. And I can't remember the place, the wildlife area that he hunts in, but he has to walk through, a couple feet of, marshed water. So, I mean, you can only imagine the insects that are in that place.
Oh yeah. And we like to say that's another advantage to permethrin treatment because unlike maybe like a Thermacell or something like that, permethrin is providing you protection on the move, regardless whether there's windy or not. When you're walking through marsh, the fabric treatment will inevitably be far more effective than kind of some of the other options.
Yeah, definitely.
So, speaking on that, so you guys are from Florida, based out of Florida, what have you?
Yeah, so we're very aware of the mosquitoes in Florida.
Right. So that you guys come out with this product specific for that, basically, for the way it reacts and acts and the conditions that you guys have there. So that's right
correct.
there.
And we've also done insect repellent testing with our formulas in Alaska for additional kind of terrible conditions.
Man,
okay,
that's pretty cool.
Nice.
That's
awesome.
I wouldn't even think of insects in a cold environment like that. You know what I mean? I mean, most of the times.
You can be the only food source for miles. They can make Florida look like a walk in the park.
I guarantee
you've heard of Canada, right? That's some of the worst bugs in the world.
Yep.
We do still have a limited Canadian market, but with the bilingual needs of in-store packaging, the Canadian market is unfortunately just a much smaller market for us than the U.S. market. So our, like I said, the Canadian military uses our permethrin, as does the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. But unfortunately, it's not quite ready or approved for civilian sales in Canada because their version of the FDA, this is passed by, I believe it's the PMRA as well. So you can get the picaridin in Canada, but again, we're 10 plus years into the approval process in Canada.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, the Canadian military and the mounted police use it. So we're just hoping it's a matter of time, just far longer than we would have previously anticipated.
Oh, wow!
Now, quick hit on that though. With it, are you still able to travel to Canada with that product?
How do I answer that?
I'm going on a
okay. Correct. Yeah. I mean, and the advantage of permethrin is, you can treat your clothing and gear before you travel.
Yeah.
So that's one less thing to worry about. And you have that treatment that's effective for 6 weeks or 6 washes. I can't, again, we want to recommend best practices and respect regulations, but I can't, in general, If you're bringing some with you, again, treat before you go, but I wouldn't try to transport high volumes of it. Again, we're still really hoping that we can get that approval for civilian sales, but it's a waiting game for us at this point.
Yeah, that's
Sure,
a good thing
absolutely.
to look up. I never even thought about taking it there, but purchasing it's obviously a different story. But
Yeah.
we'll hit more on that when we come back, Travis. We're going to take a break real quick, guys. Stay tuned. We've got more good talking points talking with Travis Avery with Sawyer Products. This segment of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by AMG Network Hosting, LLC, a national independent agent for most major telecommunication service providers. If your business is in need of internet, phones, credit card processing, let AMG Hosting help you compare options. They work with over 100 national carriers, and they can help you choose the best option for your needs. Our independence means we are loyal to our customers, not a brand or a company. Call us today at 304-608-3653 or visit us at amgnhconsulting.com. amgnhconsulting.com. Phone number again is 304-608-3653. AMG Network Hosting, LLC. All right, guys, we're back with Travis Avery, Sawyer Products. So there we were talking about the Canadian Mounted Police and the Canadian military using the product, and it's not available there for purchase to civilians. But yet it will be, hopefully.
Yes, correct.
We do have some pro staffers that go to Canada on a normal basis hunting. Some of them are from Maine. Some of them are from here in West Virginia. But
And fishing.
And fishing. Yeah, they fish there a lot. So they have used the product there, and it is amazing for black flies. That is one of the biggest things that we get feedback from the people that use that product for you guys is the black flies. It is very, very effective on the black flies in Canada.
Well, appreciate that. Yeah, the permethrin and picaridin combination is our top recommendation for heavy biting conditions and outdoor recreation.
So one of the products that you all just come out, still speaking on insect repellents.
Before you hit on that, Mike, let's go. Let's do that salute for this evening.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that, Dan.
Yeah, you're fine. So, hey, guys, tonight our salute's going to be of a great American hero. But here's our issues, guys. We are getting limited on our salutes. So everybody out there listening, if you have a family member, friend, anything, you yourself are a veteran and would not mind to be saluted, hit us up. We'd love to put you on the podcast, throw your name out there, give you the recognition you deserve.
Yes.
So with that being said, tonight our salute's going to go out to Christopher Scott Kyle.
Oh, nice one.
Yes. Born April the 8th, 1974 in Odessa, Texas. He was interested in joining the Marine Corps, Special Operations, but a recruiter actually convinced him to join the U.S. Navy and try out for the SEALs. He enlisted in the Navy on August 15th, 1998. He was initially rejected because of pins in his arms, but he eventually received an invitation to the 24 weeks basic underwater demolition sea, air, land, which is SEAL training, which is also known as BUDS.
Yep.
In Coronado, California. He graduated with a class of 233 on March 2001. Chris was a sniper with SEAL Team 3 and was officially credited with 160 kills, the most ever recorded by snipers in the service. Kyle left the service in 2009 after 4 tours of duty overseas. Most would know him or his fame from the movie American Sniper.
Yeah.
He was killed by Eddie Ray Roth on February 2nd, 2013. Kyle was awarded with the Silver Star, 4 Bronze Stars with V devices, Navy and Marine Achievement Medal with Combat V device, Combat Ribbon, and among a multitude of other awards. So, he is unfortunately was murdered. So his legacy lives on through that. But he was the epitome of an American hero, man. That man went out when he didn't even have to, and he just did it.
You know, there were several, I believe, whatever you want to call it, platoons or brigades or whatever you want to call that had served with him while he was overseas from West Virginia.
Sure, absolutely. He didn't. Yeah, he was out there for all. The man was doing what he needed to do.
Yeah,
and protecting American lives.
And you know, one of the things that he was doing, he was not only, you know, he didn't only give up his life while he was in the military. He gave up his life as a civilian, as a retired military person after the fact, because he was trying to help another. Was that another veteran that had some PTSD issues or some kind of?
Yeah, he actually started a company to. I don't know if it was a company. I don't know if he started a company per se, but he started helping multitudes of veterans dealing with PTSD, taking them to firing ranges, talking with them, and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I definitely give him a salute and appreciate his service. And you know, he's not with us now, but we pray that, you know, God's with his family and still leading and guiding them, and he's still looking down on them.
Yeah. You know, speaking on that, it's funny. I was scrolling social media the other day, and his son, I think it was on TikTok, his son's TikTok popped up on my page.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting.
That's pretty cool.
He's only got a couple videos, but I watched both of them, and he's talking about what he's trying to do and continue Chris Kyle's legacy.
Yeah,
it was neat.
From what I hear, they portrayed that movie pretty darn close to how things went down.
To a point, yes, but everything in Hollywood's still askew.
Well, yeah, you know. Obviously, but, you know, for us looking in, it was pretty good view for us.
Right.
All right, Travis, so back to Sawyer products. Let's hit on some products there in sunscreen. You said sunscreen's kind of not been one of the bigger things that took off, but it's also been a product that's been in your all's line.
It's a legacy product for us. I still use it every time I go fly fishing or anything else, or I'm going to be out in the sun for a while. It's a very breathable formula. It's a breathable matrix. So it actually penetrates deeper into your skin than a lot of other ones. So if you allow we always say the best thing to do is put on sunscreen when you're like 10 minutes before you go out into the sun, as opposed to waiting till you're already hot and oily, you know, where it's a little bit more uncomfortable to wear. Most people will think to put the sunscreen on when it's too late. But if you know you're going to be outside, not only will it be a more comfortable application, but has the absolute potential to be even a longer lasting application, because when you're out in the sun, and it's hot out, your skin is not thinking about absorbing some sunscreen. It's trying to sweat or protect itself.
Yeah.
So just like permethrin is better to do in advance sunscreen, especially with our Sawyer sunscreen, the breathable matrix. Either using too high of an SPF or putting it on way too late kind of gives those traditional poor kind of experiences of why people are often hesitant to use sunscreen. And I like to say it's because you're putting it on too late or using a formula that's clogging your pores.
Yeah. So that's
interesting.
That was one of the things I was going to ask is what sets you guys apart from, like, say, you know, Panama Jack or Coppertone, and that's one of the reasons is it penetrates.
Yep. So when we originally developed this formula for the military, we were, and you can put an asterisk on this, I think it was closer to being able to be called for the military a 36-hour application.
Oh, wow.
Because of how long it lasts. And again, they're not hopping in the shower as regularly as kind of other domestic use cases. So it's able to continue to stay effective in those conditions. So it's never really got as popular for us as some of our other products, but it's still an absolutely great formula. Whether you're using it for middle America or farmers or just people who are out in the sun on the regular, we would absolutely put our name in the hat as for on our typical Sawyer tried to be, the industry leader in its own category with all of our respective products.
Does it help you tan? Because I'm really white. I'm redhead.
Yes, you are. So it can, yeah. I mean, it's not. You can definitely still get a tan with the Sawyer sunscreen.
I'm sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't have to nerd out on the SPS quite yet.
Yeah,
He's sold.
My only question, as of right now, I use Sunbum.
Okay.
I like Sunbum for the fact that they're reef safe.
Yeah. Yep.
How did your guys?
Yep. So we have done, or actually we continue to do a variety of testings to try and find a reef safe formula that can is as effective, as comfortable, and long lasting as our current formula is. Fortunately, the majority of our users aren't using our insect repellents before they go swim, and don't touch reefs anyways, guys.
Right.
The majority of our users are kind of not in that water access scenario. So the EPA has actually kind of belittled the longevity claims down to around reapply every 2 hours as necessary, is kind of like a blanket statement for sunscreens on the market. But yes, if you are actually going to anywhere near ocean reefs, definitely consider other options. But fingers crossed, we can still kind of figure out a way to replicate our quality and longevity while also still being able to check that box as well.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I'm a advocate. I love the ocean, love scuba diving. So
yeah,
definitely want to see our reefs. They're already dying off faster than they need to anyhow.
Yeah, no, I still got my PADI and YMCA license, and I won't use it for those days. But whether I'm out in the backyard or out fishing or whatever, definitely for people who have had a negative experience in the past with insect repellents being greasy feeling or unpleasant, and again, above a 30 SPF for most people is probably more likely just to clog your pores for a much more nominal gain in SPF protection.
Yeah.
So I would highly encourage people to try our 30%, or if you're want to, or at least explore 30% kind of as your ceiling for effective and comfortable protection.
Yep.
Nice.
I probably should have used more of it when my kids were younger, because they used it a lot when they were kids, and they tan really well now. So that might have something to do with it.
It's hard to say.
Yeah,
I think you're just a little bit. Your complexion's a little bit white, anyhow, Michael.
Oh, very.
He white.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I burn very easily as well, and so that's why I don't try to use a complete blanket statement. We can be very confident in our blanket statements for permethrin or other things, but with sunscreen there are more variables. Slightly less so with insect repellents, but like you're talking about, there are some people who are mosquito magnets, whether it be their blood type or
That's
their
me.
diet or whatever,
They
the
love
amount
me.
of CO2 they breathe. There are more variables when it comes to both sunscreens and topicals.
And I tell you one thing, like when we go to the beach in Georgia, and horseflies are horrible in Georgia. I mean, these things are like little stealth bombers.
Okay.
They are huge.
They're like fly limousines.
Yeah. Yeah. And, man, it doesn't matter. Once they start, the kids will be playing in the pool, and that attracts them because they think that something's going down.
Okay, yeah.
So they're going to try to get on it or whatever. I don't know what draws them in, but I know I do. So wherever I'm at, there's a ton of horseflies. And
I could believe that.
Because you're a horse's ass.
I wasn't quick enough on the beeper.
Yeah. Beep, beep, beep. That was, I wasn't fast enough to get that one.
Dang.
No, you wasn't.
He was sitting there the whole time. He was like, I'm going to wait and I'm going to get him.
I'm going to get somebody. Oh, man. So, back to speaking on water. You guys have clean water filtration systems as well. Would you talk a little bit about that, if you don't care?
No, I would love to. So around 2006 or so is when the hollow fiber membrane technology kind of came across our radar. At that time, the fibers we ended up using were originally developed for kidney dialysis, but they were actually filtering the blood too good. And so our lead engineer was like, "Oh, well, that's interesting. I wonder how it could be used in this application." So prior to us introducing hollow fiber membrane technology as a water filtration system, kind of the bulk of the filtration systems on the market were kind of traditional, heavier, whether it was like a ceramic or kind of other different medium that would use barrier filtration. And that's why you kind of remember these much more fragile, maybe 2+ pound kind of pump systems that really needed that pressure to force the water through these membranes, the ceramic filters to provide clean drinking water on the other side. Whereas these hollow fiber membrane filters were not only capable of filtering the water faster, they're also less prone to physical damage, and then, as we later turned out, had a drastically larger lifespan. So we basically, around 2008 or so, is when we got serious in the water filtration game. And that's when we first partnered with two of our charity partners, one Give Clean Water and the other one, Give Clean Water is in Fiji. And then the other organization in Honduras, they have recently changed their name to Water by Women. But literally, some of those filters that have been installed, 10+ years ago, are still in operation. So our water filters went from being kind of the new kid on the block to being the industry standard. And hollow fiber membrane technology has been adapted by other industry competitors, but no one has able really to replicate our secret sauce. So our filter, our entry level filters come with a 100,000 filter potential capacity. And then the full size squeeze filter, which is what is our kind of workhorse model, as well as the filter we use in these international applications. Those are the ones that come with a lifetime warranty. And we're beyond thrilled that they're lasting even longer than we, could have initially dreamed of.
So that's interesting.
Awesome.
So that Helicell.
I thought I'd take a break there to unpack that.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
So that Helicell actin, is that like the same stuff that's in diapers?
Can you say that again?
The Helicell actin, is that the filaments in that? Is that like the same stuff that's in like children's diapers?
Nope. So our hollow fiber membrane filters, they're basically extruded polypropylene that have pores no bigger than 0.1 microns absolute. And then we put them in a U shape inside the filters. And then, so basically, the only way for the clean water to come out the top of these hollow, literally they're fibers that are hollow, so we call them hollow fiber membranes. The only way for the clean water below 0.1 microns to go through is to get drawn in through the sides of these 0.1 micron pores. And that is what is as a barrier filtering out any particulate or pathogens above 0.1 micron in size. So that's all harmful bacteria, protozoa, cysts, as well as 100% of microplastics. And we're the only brand in the industry that has both 100% of microplastics and a bacterial removal of 7 log, 6 log per protozoa and cyst.
That's crazy. Wow. So another product that we're pretty familiar with is the squeeze bottle. Not the squeeze bottle, but the squeeze water filtration system.
Yep. So, and that's the one that we use both as our workhorse model for heavy outdoor users and outdoor enthusiasts.
Yep.
It's the most popular filter on the long distance hiking trails for people over, hiking from, Mexico to Canada and on the Appalachian Trail or other long trails as well. So it has proven to be a very reliable filter on a daily basis. And so we basically use that exact same water filter just with slightly different accessories. So in developing countries or in disaster relief situations, refugee situations, or like we also had some of our about 50,000 filters in Ukraine. They basically, there's a variety of different ways to do it, but the most low cost option is to literally just drill a hole in like a 5-gallon bucket, use a 1-foot hose and whatever, and these filters are bringing clean water. That's how we're at that 28 million lives impacted figure, is through all of our various charity partners using our water filters in their own different, slightly respective ways. And so we're very fortunate to be at around 140 charities in 80 countries that use our filters to bring clean water to those in need.
Wow, 140 charities in 80 countries. That's crazy. So you hit on that number there, 28,551,000. That's a tracker there, I guess, on your all's website.
Yeah, so we have on our website, we have a algorithm that's tied to our, anytime we do any of our international efforts, that kind of triggers the counter to slowly tabulates our lives impacted. But yes, we feel very fortunate at this point, obligated to kind of use our products and profits. And so we're currently at this stage in Sawyer's growth that we're donating about 90% of our profits to these kind of international research and implementation programs.
Man, that's awesome. That is great that you guys are able to do that. So some of the
I was going to say, if you'll allow me the quick final moment on that soapbox, it's entirely thanks to anyone and everyone that has purchased our products in the past. And that's another reason why we feel incredibly spoiled that we're a smaller family-owned company, so we can make those decisions, as opposed to, having a fiduciary responsibility to maximize profits. We can say, no, we want to do this. We want to hopefully leave the world a better place. And between insects and waterborne diseases, those are kind of the two largest killers of children under the age of 5 around the world. And we're doing our best to solve the global water crisis in our lifetime.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is great.
Talking on that, how many U.S. states are you guys in, your products in? Are they in all 50?
All. Yeah.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Yep. We have a store locator on our website. We're fortunate to have some mom and pop shops and other stuff along the way. So definitely support local if you can, or if that's your jam. Obviously, definitely respect that. But all the way up to Amazon, Bass Pro, Cabela's. So definitely you can, all our full catalog is available on Amazon. It's harder to find all of our stuff in some of the smaller stores. Definitely check out our store locator, because, inventory changes in what the stores carries changes. So whether you want to see what Tractor Supply has or whatever your favorite store is, please check out our store locator on our website. We appreciate anywhere and everywhere you can support and use our products, and any product purchases, regardless of what they are, kind of help us bring our clean water systems around the world.
Yeah, that's great. So talking about, going back on those efforts there. So the clean water for all Marshall Islands is one of the projects that you all have going currently. And then there is the clean water for all of Honduras. Tell us about those just briefly.
So what we've, again, with the scale of all the different charities and countries we're working in, we have partnered with some very large-scale projects like Marshall Islands, Liberia, and so those are two of the countries that now have border-to-border clean water access according to the UN. With the use of Sawyer filtration systems. So now the entire country has clean water. I think they installed about 3,700 wells and over 100,000 filters, almost 130,000 filters. Was able to get clean water to the entire country. Marshall Islands, Keo, a female owned and operated charity, was able to eventually get clean water to the entire country. And they had an amazing model where they actually started at the most remote regions and then slowly worked their way back to the most urban applications. We also have a project going on in Ciudad Victoria right now, which is in Mexico, trying to find different ways to bring clean water to that area. In Mexico, in that area specifically, some of those people are spending as much as 25% of their annual income on clean water.
Wow.
We did a study in Fiji where we found we were able to give an eighth of the family's annual income back just by having a clean water system. With the full socioeconomic impact, the kids are healthier, so they're not evacuating all their nutrition with what they call a runny stomach, so they're feeling better, they're doing better in school, parents are missing less work days, tending to the kids or taking them to the hospital, so all of that adds up to an eighth of their annual income coming back. So we're doing that kind of a similar but smaller project in Ciudad Victoria. So yes, we're trying to find all these different ways to kind of, there's whether it's country specific or region specific or even neighborhood specific, dynamics are always slightly different. So we're just very pleased or proud to be working with all these people and places in the different areas trying to figure out the best recipe of success.
Sure. Speaking of working in different areas, I'm sure with your guys' products and first aid, that comes in handy as well.
Oh, it's fun.
Like you talk a little bit about your first aid products, and also, were you guys the inventor or the originator of that SAM splint?
So that's actually I don't want to call it a sister company, but a company friend. Sam Medical, my father has known the owners of that company for years. So yes, we partner with them and help bring the Sam Splint and some other of their products over the years to kind of the mass market.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, that's interesting.
So is that the only medical things that you all have other than in the first aid industry, or did they?
Yeah. So we still have our extractor, it was originally pioneered as a snake bite venom removal kit. Fortunately, these days, it gets used way more for mosquito bites and other insect bites, bee stings, wasp stings, trigger bites, kind of anything that you want to kind of do your best to remove toxins or irritants from your skin. So that's still one of our other legacy items. But yeah, we were one of the companies that pioneered kind of piece counts in first aid kits. Okay. So it wasn't just like, hey, here's 500 mini bandages and then some other helpful stuff. We actually came up with that idea of building a very tailored first aid kit for various types of outings or duration, like trip durations, but then eventually in time it just kind of became a very piece count heavy, inflated, kind of cost competitive markets, and
sure.
The tightening restrictions on if you have like aspirin or antidiarrheals and whatnot, the expiration dates on those are even more tightly regulated. So it became a much more difficult market for us to stay profitable in.
Yeah.
And then with the growth of the repellents and the water filtration, we more or less kind of shifted our efforts with kind of our time and capacity being that smaller company, but still do our best to keep some of our legacy products still alive, like the sunscreens and whatnot, and just kind of let some of the stuff that we were proud of, but maybe not be as industry leading or as successful as we were hoping. Sometimes, especially within these past 5 years, with everything that has changed, we've had to streamline our product line and whatnot. So, so unfortunately, is a category that we've somewhat sunset, but we still do have some category items in there.
Well, Travis, it's been amazing talking to you and such a pleasure this evening. You are a wealth of knowledge when it comes to these
Very
things.
insightful. Absolutely.
Thank you much. Appreciate your guys' time as well. I hope my scatterbrain, literally as soon as I get off, I'll be like, dang it, I forgot to mention this. But I hope that I checked as many of the boxes as possible, and I appreciate your guys' time as well.
Yeah, man.
No, we appreciate you talking your product and getting it out there to some people that may not have ever used it or tried it, and hopefully we can get some of these guys to try y'all's product, because we've tried it and we love it. That's for sure.
Awesome. Yep.
And,
I'm happy to also quick add last in. Again, this is the one thing I remembered before. We do also have domestic programs. We work with disaster relief, whether it's domestic hurricanes or freezes. Like I said, Florida-based company, we're very familiar with hurricanes. In hurricane season, we are very active in Puerto Rico. We work with some Native American tribes here in the U.S. We work with some of the First Nations tribes up in Canada. So, yes, we are very fortunate to work with a lot of these international partners, but I just don't want to think that we're not trying to tackle a lot of these situations closer to home as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Y'all might be pretty busy up there in Minnesota and Iowa and all that, man, with the flooding they've just received.
Yep. And if you want to scratch my tinfoil hat, our aging infrastructure is also of concern, but we'll save that for another
Absolutely.
Yep. Anytime you want to come back on, you just let us know. If you get off, you forgot something, be like, I got to schedule another time. It was great.
I'm hoping. I think that was the last one I wanted to add at the end, because that is something that we do get asked about fairly often, about like, well, what other domestic programs there are. Literally the best way you can support us is just continue to use the products that best help you get out in the outdoors the way that you personally recreate. But if anyone who wants to get a little bit more directly involved, we do have a Sawyer Foundation. 100% of external donations go to specific water projects. You can even choose where it goes to, regionally or elsewhere. So
that's awesome.
That's the last of the stuff that I can think of today.
All righty, Travis. Well, we sure appreciate you, sir, and it was great having you on.
Yes, it was. It was a pleasure.
Thank you much. It was a pleasure being here.
All righty. You have a good evening. We thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, be sure you check out Sawyer.com to get an idea of these products, and you can purchase them at about any local retailer that you have. Cabela's, Bass Pro, Shields, Academy Sports, Dunham's. I mean, they're in about every sporting goods store that you can think of. And get their products, try them out, and if you like them, shoot them out a photo on Facebook or social media, and always tag We Keep You Outdoors. That's one of their hashtags that's really been one of their big kickers when noting those products. So, again, Travis, we appreciate you, and everybody, thanks for listening. Do you find yourself not wanting to tackle that honey-do list at home or the dreaded home and business repairs and improvements? Let Jones Empire LLC, which is a locally owned and operated business from Charleston to Huntington, West Virginia. Jones Empire LLC is licensed and insured, servicing commercial and residential properties throughout the state of West Virginia. Jones Empire LLC offers junk removal, property cleaning, interior and exterior cleaning, paver, patios, small remodels, tree pruning, tree trimming, tree cutting, tree removal, demolition, tree thinning, stump removal, landscaping, painting and staining, gutter cleaning, pressure washing, and even small remodels. Jones Empire LLC also offers dump trailer services for all your hauling needs. Jones Empire LLC offers free estimates. Schedule your service today. Call or text 304-541-8934. Again, call Jones Empire LLC 304-541-8934. They also offer 24/7 emergency services. Call them today.